If a leak could break a man's heart into a million pieces, this is it. I have never been so horrendously down bad about video game news than right here, right now. I thought Starfield's delay was horrible. I feel empty inside right now. This is catastrophic down bad mentality here. So I threw this shirt on today, this morning, because I was just thinking about the KOTOR remake and how amazing it would be. And we got the worst possible news on top of what has been an already bad week for me. I'm sorry, I'm in my feels right now. But oh my God, I throw out my back. I missed my first trip to Disney. And now, KOTOR Remake is delayed indefinitely. If we're to believe the word of Jason Schreier and gaming gods, if there's a time you're going to expose this man as a fraud, let it be now, because I can't believe this is real. Let's just face facts. It got delayed. I have small amounts of insight to share based off interactions with my sources. I have an update on all of that as well. I had no idea this was coming, though. I want to make that very clear because I know I've reported on things in the past about KOTOR Remake, and this was no indication whatsoever, and you'll see in the article why that's the case, why people on the inside had no idea about it. So let's get to reading. We're going to follow the highlights here. It's from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game paused amid studio shakeup. So paused. Development has stopped. That is crazy unto its own. It's not delayed, restructuring, we need more time. It's like it is stopped. And this is not the first time it's stopped. There's been reports that there was a KOTOR remake that was put into stasis at BioWare Austin. Like, it stopped development then. And I just want one of my series to come back. Sly Cooper, Fallout, Star Wars Knights of the Republic. Something, bro. Give me something. I'm starving out here. At least Mega Man Battle Network's coming back. I can't complain about that. I can't complain about that. So we got something to hold on to here. A hotly anticipated new Star Wars game is in serious trouble, according to people familiar with the project. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, a remake of the 2003 role-playing game, is delayed indefinitely as developers at Austin, Texas-based Aspire Media try to figure out what comes next. Aspire also abruptly fired the game's art director and design director this month. In a series of meetings throughout July, Aspire's two studio heads told employees that the project is on pause and that the company will look for new contracts and development opportunities, said the people who were not authorized to speak publicly about the situation. So they're literally pivoting their workforce to another project, set of projects, whatever work they can find, until they can figure this game out. That is not just bad, that's terrible news. That is some of the worst news that you can hear. And I know I'm emotionally amped up because clearly I care about this game. We're talking about the remake of my favorite game of all time. But this is not just a small, like, oh, figuring things out. They have stopped the amount of work they're doing on this game to go focus elsewhere. This will be paused for many months, I would imagine. Let's keep reading. On June 30th, Aspire finalized the demo of the game, known as a vertical slice, to show to production partners Lucasfilm and Sony. The developers were excited about it and felt like they were on track, according to a person familiar with the project, so they were shocked by what happened next. This is where I want to pause real quickly. Obviously, in the past, I've shared information about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. I've read Reddit. Yeah, he's probably full of shit. He's a YouTuber. I don't give a damn. I'm not out here to trick anyone. I'm not trying to build a career off of leaks. I'm just sharing what I know. And this was a source that I could 100% verify through multiple other sources was indeed a part of the development of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. And I could tell the vibe in the studio was good and that this did come as a surprise because I have laid eyes on this game and what I saw as a KOTOR fan looks amazing. What I found really interesting about all this, a lot of people have asked any updates on KOTOR Remake. I've got it, especially in streams when I'm live. Any updates on it? My source went completely cold after I dropped that huge amount of information to start off the year and highlighted that they were focusing on Neo 2 and God of War as sort of gameplay touchstones and a number of other details about swoop racing, side content, etc., etc. That source went cold. I think that's important to note because to me, that was a sign of like, oh boy. What's going on there? Did someone get rooted out? what's the vibe in the studio? And it seems like things were pretty good, was what I was told. But now we see here June 30th, they were preparing to show a vertical slice of the game, thinking what they had was pretty good. And what I've seen looked great. But anyway, continuing on, it says the following week, the company fired design director Brad Prince and art director Jason Miner. Neither responded to requests for comment, but Miner suggested on a social media page that his dismissal was unexpected. So what they saw was not what they were looking for, is the vibe I'm getting here. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, I have not gotten any inside information on KOTOR Remake in a long while. So I don't know what the feeling is now. I haven't known for many months. But this seems to me, based off the dismissal being a surprise and the team feeling good, that they presented something that, you know, I thought maybe could have looked good. But when they presented it, it was not what a particular investor may have been looking for. Continuing on, it says Aspire's studio heads told staff that the vertical slice wasn't where they wanted it to be and that the project would be paused, according to two people who were in the meeting. One person familiar with the discussion suggested that a disproportionate amount of time and money had gone into the demo and that the project's current course wasn't sustainable. Another point of contention may be the timeline. At the outset, this friggin' hurts, man. At the outset of development, Aspire told staff and partners it would release the game by the end of 2022. I told you all this in a report, and I said it may have slipped to 2023, according to two people familiar with production. Developers said a more realistic target now would be 2025. What does that mean? They're overhauling the goddamn thing. Top to bottom, this shit's getting overhauled. And I don't know, man. I don't know. This hurts. You know, I will eat crow on this. I'll hold my L. A lot of people were very on Aspire. I was a big believer in them because I thought they had a lot of fans there. I thought that they had a lot of people who understood the value of the product. I thought they were hiring the right talent from BioWare and whatnot. But it almost feels like this remake is cursed based off what happened with BioWare Austin. Now, Aspire, this is their first AAA project. It could have been a big undertaking, and it may have just overwhelmed them, and perhaps they took too much time on a particular stretch of the game. Now, one thing I do want to focus on here is the use of the terminology demo. I think it's really important to clarify what's happening here, because obviously this game is somewhat along in development. If they were aiming for the end of this year, I'm not sure what the feel was internally on what they could pull off if suddenly they're saying 2025. But to me, again, that suggests a complete overhaul, and what they saw they just didn't like. But if they're showing a demo, typically that's something that, like, as someone making a game, you put the demo together like a kind of sample of the experience. Here's the gameplay, here's whatever's in your game, visually how it looks, and here's what we want the rest of the game to look like. Effectively, hey, give us money. And typically that's done, and then development starts in earnest. What's interesting is this game seems to have started development in earnest, and now they're talking demos, which maybe just may be another word for presentation for them in this instance. But I think it's really important to mention here because they talk about the disproportionate amount of time and money gone into the demo. We've heard a lot about vertical slices in our industry, with E3 in particular being very distracting, and this is another way that development can catch up with you. It's about staying fluid. It's about really moving with momentum, and things can stagnate pretty quickly. And it's very, very easy, take it from me, it's very easy to stay on one thing for a long while and get very tunnel visioned on a particular aspect of the game and let the rest of it kind of fester, and then it has to all catch up, that rest of the project. So I can see why the timeline, just based off my experience, has been moved back dramatically. It just doesn't hurt any less. And again, based off what I saw, I was like, this seems totally fine. So this is just insane to me. There's one last part of the article. The fate of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remains unclear. In May, Embracer announced that Saber Interactive would also join the project. Some at Aspire believe that Saber, which has mainly been doing outsourcing work for the project, may take it over completely. This might be the best news you read here, honestly, just because I think, yeah, famous last words, I think Saber's pretty capable. I said this in my video when we last did a news update for KOTOR Remake. I want to say that was in June or May. And I highlighted how when Saber joined that this was a good sign because they are an experienced team. They've handled a number of IP. They've made their own games. And having that guidance will help Aspire. But again, I was under the impression things were moving along smoothly here. Unfortunately, they're not. And I could see this being a situation. And if it is, I think the timeline gets moved back more. And this hurts so bad because it's like, now we're talking Elder Scrolls 6 hours for KOTOR Remake. Oh, I'm hurting, man. I'm hurting. I need more, man. I need like a Fallout remaster or something to rekindle my hope for my childhood coming back, because this is killer. I still am processing it. I know I may be to some a little dramatic, but I don't think people get how much this means to me. I mean, some of you have seen my reaction to this. It's on my YouTube channel and my video of the coverage of the announcement of the game. And I lost it. I completely lost it. I usually am like hype for games, and I have a pretty good level of optimism for gaming. But I mean, I have never been out of my chair screaming and on a consistent high for like weeks, unlike when KOTOR Remake got announced. So this one stings in particular. And, you know, long term, what does this mean? I think this means we don't see gameplay at the PlayStation Showcase. This seems like what was happening was Embracer and Aspire and Saber had something they liked, and they presented it to Sony and Lucasfilm, as the article states, and they did not like what they saw. To me, that's all the more clear when you look at Embracer saying that they'll have a gameplay reveal in the coming months. If you're pausing the project and considering overhauling things, a gameplay reveal is ill-advised as much as I really want to see it. As much as I want to see like a final polished product version of this game that is available to everyone, as much as I want that, I feel like you just got to try to get this one right. But I feel like they showed Sony and Lucasfilm something and was like, that, or what they showed, they're like, this is what you got done in this amount of time. We have to do, you know, think about KOTOR as a whole, how many planets there are, how many assets are required for the planets, right? Tatooine, Manan, Dantooine, Korriban. You got all these planets here. They all look and feel different. And there is some minor asset overlap. It is what it is, I guess. You got to just accept it. But this one's painful. Painful. I'll do my best to do any additional digging, but again, my sources have gone completely cold. So I at least wanted to leave you all with a very emotional video here on what's going on with KOTOR Remake. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, what do you feel about today's news? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts. I'm sorry, I actually lost myself there for a little bit. I got to end positively. We got to keep the energy up a little bit. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.